Hey y'all, it's Holly. So, finally on to ranking the Bond actors. Um, just go ahead and get out of the way. Honorable mentions for all of the non-official Bonds, being mostly the Casino Royale, other versions, whether it's Barry Nelson in the American one or David Niven and the comedy one. Those ones, honorable mentions. That's just going to be the case. Um, But starting off, maybe somewhat controversially, all of this probably going to be the middle chunk's going to be controversial. I think the top three may be agreed upon, or at least one of them will be agreed upon. I don't know. That's the beauty of Bond stuff. People have different opinions. Either way, um, number six, Daniel Craig himself. So Daniel Craig does a good job with what version he wants to be. And I really think that version is the Casino Royale book Bond. Like that version of Bond is like consistent throughout. However, the book Bond doesn't stay that way. Book Bond becomes more jovial. He becomes more in tune with his emotions, becomes more vulnerable. You see his anger, you see his sadness, you see his happiness, and you don't really get that until No Time to Die. No Time to Die, I feel like, is Craig's best performance as Bond and as an actor himself. Like that emotion he carries through that one is like that's his best performance. However, his other movies aren't that great. Like, he gets overshadowed, I believe, especially in Skyfall and stuff. Like he gets overshadowed. I will say Quantum is probably his second best performance in terms of like reaching like that book Bond, like emotion and anger that Bond can have. Um, but overall, like I was never watching it for Daniel Craig. I was watching it for the other stuff. Um, and that kind of translates into my number five as well. And it's unfortunate because number five is the reason why I got into Bond. But number five is Roger Moore. Roger Moore is kind of consistently on the lower end for people in terms of being accurate because he's not at all accurate to Book Bond, really. The closest thing you get is his relationship with Felix, but even then, it's much closer. Even then, like Dalton gets much closer with Felix, but um, I do like Moore. I love Moore. I love his movies. For me, though, I feel like I kind of soured somewhat on him because I watched all of his movies like pretty much back to back. It was a fatigue kind of thing, and I think if I had taken a break in between, like I did with Craig, I would have appreciated it more. That's not to say he doesn't have good performances, especially I feel like in his premiere with Live and Let Die is really good. And the stuff within Spy Who Loved Me, Octopussy, somewhat, and even especially, at least for me, View to a Kill. All of those show his acting chops, and especially later on when he's allowed to be a bit more comedic, is where he shines. But it's just the movies themselves. I feel like once again, the draw comes more from like the villains and the girls and the weird scenarios rather than him because he kind of gets into a rut and you kind of can tell that he's getting tired of it too. It's that middle chunk where it gets kind of bad. And that does bring him down for me. As much as I like him, it's you. I also have to weigh in the qualities of the movies themselves that they starred in. Because if they got outshined by the villains, if typically most of the movies are just not well written, or you can tell he's not having a good time, that's going to play a part. But I do like Moore a lot. But someone has to be number five, and he's number five. Number four, kind of the same scenario a little bit as Moore. Where I feel like the middle couple movies aren't as good, especially the end is really not as good. But he does have two of my favorite Bond movies. And he does have 2 to 3 insanely good performances, 2 to 4 maybe, insanely good performances. But that's Connery. Connery is the stereotypical Bond. Him and Moore pretty much make what most people consider Bond. But Connery never really struck a chord with me. Like even when I was rewatching or watching it the first time, like he was there. I did like him. Like his performance in Doctor No and From Russia or Pitch Perfect Book Bond, Pitch Perfect Bond. Like if I had to like say hey, Bond, like I would still probably give people Connery. Um, but once he starts getting more comedic, he doesn't really reach that. That said, he does kind of loosen up with Never Say Never again, because it's, I guess, unofficial. He's allowed to be a bit more loose. And the comedy, I think, works better there than it does with Diamonds Are Forever. But Dr. No from Russia with Love are both excellent versions. Like, that is good, like, even beyond book accurate by, like, that's just good acting. Goldfinger's good too. I will say, I will admit Goldfinger is good too. It's not my favorite, but it's up there. Um, and as I said in my own personal rankings, You Only Live Twice is an excellent movie as well. Um, that does somewhat fall into the camp of where the villain is overshadowing Bond himself, but the movie itself is really well done. Um, but I just personally like the next 3 better. Um, so yeah, the funny thing is I did go into this like the experiment itself, watching all his bonds, assuming that Roger would be 4, 3 up there kind of thing, and Connor would be lower. Guess not. But number 3, I love him. I love the movie, and I don't have a solo copy of it. But George Lazenby. George Lazenby got the short end of the stick. He was given wrong information. He was somehow told that Bond would die out. Clearly, that didn't happen. But that said, he would have made an amazing Bond if he got 1 or 2 more movies. The one movie he gave us is one of the best Bond movies ever. Like the fact that the latter half of like the last 2 Craig movies pretty much just readapted on Her Majesty's Secret Service tells you how good that movie was. And like the emotion in that movie, like his acting, the emotions in that movie are all excellent. Those are all the best. And like it's hard for me to say, like really, really compare because he only had 1 movie. But the performance in that movie is so well done, I can't put him like anywhere below 3. I used to kid when I was younger, like, oh, I have him at number 1. I mean, maybe. Like, if he had 1 or 2 more movies, he very well could be number 1. Um, but it's like, even beyond the quality of the movie, he did an insanely good job. It's just got the short end of the stick. Especially that final scene. That final scene where he's holding Tracy is like you can see the weariness, the heartbreak, the sadness in there. You can see the love that he has for her, like as the movie goes on. Um, and him just kind of even the subtle bit of him like pretty much pretending to be um what's his face? Nelson Nelly? I don't remember. The coat of arms guy, the guy who's pretending to be. Um, like, yes, they did dub over him with the actor who plays the real person, but him getting the mannerisms down, pretending that he doesn't like helicopter rides, that's all excellent stuff. Um, but someone asked me number 3. He's number 3. This one's tough. This one's real tough because I love both of them. I really, really, really do. Um, and do I go with my gut? Do I go with my heart? Or do I go with time spent? You know, I'm going to go with what I believe is the case. As much as I like, these two can flip for me at any time, but I'll get to why this guy's second for me. Brosnan is number two. Brosnan would be number one for me if the quality of his movies were slightly better. Slightly. I do love his movies, his excellent movies. But the one thing that was missing from it, I believe, is a consistent character arc, if that makes sense. So, best way to describe it is um, Die Another Day. Die Another Day, which I absolutely love, is a good example of Bond like kind of having that loose continuity, keeping track with it, and you can tell like his weariness, you can tell that he's over, you can tell that he's angry over all of this. Like the fact is like I've spent years of my life doing this, and you betray me, and that kind of thing. Like the acting in the beginning when like he's talking to M and he's like still locked up, and then when he meets her again, like underground. All excellent stuff. Amazing stuff. However, for me, I believe that connects more because of its loose continuity with all the previous Bonds. It does not have the same emotional impact as like it feels more like an ending to all the Bonds rather than to his Bond, if that makes sense to you. Um, because really his movies do slightly connect, but they don't fully connect. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because most of the other Bonds don't really do that either. But I feel like having a even slight like kind of arc within those movies would have been really excellent. Like he's a near pitch perfect Bond as it is. He has the quips, he has the comedy, he has the emotions, he has the anger, he has like the trust he gets with um yeah, Joe Don Briggs's character. Like um it's all no Joe Don Briggs was the other person, right? Forget that. But he has it there, and it's just I don't know. It comes down to like the once I feel like once again the villains tend to outshine him a bit, and that's a reoccurring issue. But I really feel like as much as I really liked Tomorrow Never Dies and World's Not Enough, the villains are the better part of those movies. Um, while Brosnan himself shines more in GoldenEye and Die Another Day. But like I said, it's can flip at any time for me. That said, that does mean number one is Dalton. Dalton was one of those ones that I always liked. It could just be because I liked the actor, because I had seen him in Hot Fuzz years ago and loved him in that. And I'd see bits, whenever Spike TV or whatever did Bond retrospectives or whatever. Always kind of liked his movies. But he has what I've been talking about this whole time: emotion, character growth. Um, Living Daylights is an excellent movie. Like you get Bond immediately. You get like why he's there, what he wants, what he like, everything about him immediately, and then that builds up even more in License to Kill. Like so, both of those movies show the two different sides of Bond, or three really. Living Daylights is the emotional, loving Bond, where he does fall in love with the female spy, well, accidental spy. He does fall in love with her. Like you can tell, like that relationship's actually really good. With let me I want to make sure of her name. Sorry. There we go. Kara. His relationship with Kara is excellent. Like that's to me like maybe third best female Bond, best like Bond woman, below Tracy and Madeline. I may put her above Madeline because I kind of like the actress a bit more, but she's up there for me. Like Kara is definitely one of the best, and that whole movie is really really good. Um, it has Joe John Briggs. This time I'm correct. As a pretty fun villain. Not the best, but I do like his like fake kind of colonel general kind of vibe. I do like that. I like his weird animatronic fight with Bond. Like that's fun. I like that. The Globetrotter stuff's all good. Like all that's good. But like he does a really really good job in it. Like from a like first time thing is insane too. And then License to Kill has what I've been wanting from all the Bonds is a good relationship with Felix. He's the only one besides Craig in the final movie to have one who's like, oh, yeah, you guys had a long life relationship, you're buddies, you're friends, you get along, and then he gets injured, you want revenge. Not only is this movie the only one where Felix actually gets injured and stays injured, but it's one of those ones that is all about revenge. Like that's the concept within Bond, but it's a revenge against for Felix. The sadness that he feels and like kind of almost jealousy that he has very briefly for Felix, being that he's like one, there is that little bit of jealousy and kind of regret or like just sadness seeing Felix get married and he's reminded of Tracy. And then he's like, oh, your wife also died. I get that. If that's awful, I'm getting revenge for you. You got injured. I'm getting revenge for you. Our other best friend died too. I'm getting revenge for that. Like, all of that is excellent. And I wish we got a third one. But that's it. These two versions, these two movies Dalton was in, are two of his best. Like, in terms of just being Bond. Like, not like his being Dalton's, but his being Bond as well. Like they are two of the best Bond movies, and he brings an air of gravitas, an air of like emotion, really, to every scene, to every bit. Like this is Bond. Like when I think of a Bond, like straight up, like just like if I was gonna adapt Bond perfectly from the screen, it would be Dalton. Dalton is the best accurate Bond. He's the best. I feel like I may see this is the issue that so many of the Bonds are so good. Like I could easily flip Connery into three and have the top three be Dalton, Brosnan, Connery. Lazenby's up there too. Like they're all really good at what they do. Um, but I can't see anyone being at my top other than Dalton. Like I could see Brosnan taking it occasionally. Like, but it's they're all very close. Um, that said, I would love to know your personal rankings because I'm sure they're going to be different. I'm sure Lazenby's not going to be as high for some other people. I'm sure Connor is going to be much higher. Probably Craig's going to be higher, depending on how old you are. But who knows? So please do me the favor, do me the great honor of liking the video, subscribing, leaving a comment of your own personal rankings, all of that jazz. That'd be wonderful. I will be working on the full movie ranking soon. I'm going to be gone for a week soon. Like I'm leaving Friday for New York, so I'm going to be gone for a bit. But I'll be working on it there. There's a lot of movies to consider and a lot of different random opinions I got. So That's going to be a long one, and that's going to take me some time as well. But that said, my final rankings for this, by the way, for the honorable mentions, actually, Barry Nelson's the bottom, then David Niven. But so Barry Nelson, David Niven, Daniel Craig as 6, 5 is Roger Moore, 4 is Connery, 3 is Lazenby, 2 Brosnan, and number 1 Dalton. Thank you.